It's called back off. I've just started to teach and I can't do it anymore. Now, not when there are these changing government targets to be reached. I mean, how are these children meant to be taught properly? Look, if you want my opinion, which as a teacher seems seldom, one current problem in education is privatisation. Corporations creating a profit-sized nation, with prices dictating and prize motivation, their prying eyes vacant push lies for more payment. So instead of happy, confident, well-rounded children, schools are measured on figures and average attainment. And let me tell you something, you can't teach on averages. Or at least you really shouldn't, because at best, averages just make people average. And the average is set by these overwaged and overraged politicians miss the wonderfully very preciseness in which our younger kids exist and need. But now their needs need to fit the mould, and kneaded into moulds by expert bakers and masterful makers of pastries and cakes, there's this guy at the top that does nothing but tasters. There's all of these people there asked as advisors, but very few teachers. And even those who they do, if not in agreement, their opinions kept secret. Now, I can't say I blame them, though I really do, because averages make it far easier to define findings that find what you've been hiding. I'll give you an example of how this can be damaging. Apparently, on average, our younger girls are managing the processes of creating and literature composing more than boys are. Put simply, girls are better at writing. And in light of this finding, the flood of resources for boys was amazing but frightening. The reason being for the slight forgetting that this is an average and not everything. I mean, what about that girl who's struggling? Yeah, what about the lowest ability girl who happens to be lower ability than the lowest ability boy? Especially when the highest ability girls are higher ability than the highest ability boys by more than the lowest ability girl is lower. Because in this case, on average, if you work it out, that girl that's struggling isn't. Okay, look, sorry if that example sounds a little convoluted. Alright, allow me to give you one that's undiluted. This oversight is like throwing her in the sea without giving her any lessons, because on average, women can swim. Yeah. I know that all sounds kind of mean, but isn't that just another word for average? In either way, learning to swim right now, it wouldn't be such a bad thing, because this ship is sinking and the water level rising, which is kind of ironic according to the government's findings, because they say it's the only level there is. And suspiciously, low levels mean more private-owned academies. And talking of levels, what's with all those nowadays? I mean, why no names? I like to go into school and say, "Good morning, Emily." Not, "Good morning, literacy level 2B. Unless, of course, she forgot a capital letter and a full stop, then naturally she is not level 2B, but 2B or not 2B should not really be her question. Look, I don't care if she is 2B, 2A or 1C, I just want to see, and not the level, but to actually see that she enjoys literacy. No, more importantly to me, what matters is that she is happy and knows how to be.
Yeah.
Yep.
I find a hug works wonders. But apparently I'm too old and too male, so a CRB doesn't cover me. And a quick message to those parents who are pushing for 11+ when their child is just in year 3. That's sadly true and truly sad. And if I had my way, well, I'd just let them be. I mean, play in a tree. Just stare at the sea. Dream. And not worry about what they'll grow up to be. And when asked, be satisfied to answer, well, I guess we'll see. Yeah, no child should be concerned about which university they go to or the standard of their degree. Oh no, not a 2-2 and at worst a 3, and avoid a 2-1 disappointing their mum. Yeah, only a first will quench their thirst and let them sleep tight under their Ben 10 duvets, counting times tables in the night. Look, they're not a figure, they're not an average, they're not a political hook to bite, so just back off and let them be children. Alright?
Yeah!